This magic card has spiked over 480%, and it's not the only card we're going to talk about. Because of the commander bannings, there's a lot going on in the world of Magic the Gathering that you need to be aware of. Today's video is going to break down into something a little bit more unusual because of the commander bannings and things going on with Duskmourn. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now, we are talking about a card that has jumped over 480%, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what was happening in the secondary market with several other cards, some of them being attached to the bannings, and of course other cards are surging in sales, and you do need to know about this information. So we're going to jump into the first card right away and not waste any time. I know you guys like it that way, so let's take a look at the first card, okay? Now, the first card here is Pyrogoyf. They're all Goyfs. Pyrogoyf, that's the one. Don't worry about the Moxman's listening skills or speaking skills. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does, and I apologize profusely. So, Pyrogoyf here from Commander Modern Horizons 3. Seeing quite the surge, tons of sales going on. Now, when we take a closer look at the card, let's not forget this is a Goyf, and it's kind of connected to the whole tribal theme that Wizards of the Coast has been connecting to add some synergy. And we have here a single red, 3 generic, Goyf. And you see here its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness is equal to that number +1. When the Pyrogoyf or another Goyf creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature deals damage equal to its power. Now that's very interesting. It's good to have great synergy, great ways of capping off and sneaking creatures in. I can see all kinds of recursion effects. It's a great card, okay? And of course the sales do merit that out. Now for our next card, we're taking a look at a card that, of course, is directly related to Duskmourn, and that is Nixilis, the Captive Kingpin. Now, this one's seen a couple 100% increase, but it was a very cheap card, at least. So it's now $17.41 on average, and, of course, that's still pretty good. Now, when we look at the card, you can see here for a single red and 1 black, 2 generic, you get a 4/3 Flying Trample. But look at that text box. It's always amazing. Whenever one or more opponents each lose exactly 1 life, put a +1/+1 counter on Nixilis, Captive Kingpin, exile the top card of your library, and until end of step, you can play that card. So you can see there, if you're doing damage to your opponents with maybe some other cards in the game, you are going to see this guy get pumped up pretty quick, and of course he fits in perfectly with the Commander synergy that goes along with the Duskmourn Commander deck. Very interesting to see this particular card go up, but obviously people know what they're talking about, and the sales are in the hundreds and hundreds, and the card kind of rose in value as it went along. So it's something to keep in mind, guys. Cards like this, I want to remind everyone, let me just pull this away for a second. I want to remind you all here, mid-video, that those prices will not hold, okay? The captive audience that is really interested in this deck construction right now will fade away. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a great deck build. Doesn't mean it's going to be anything less played. It just means the prices won't hold. It won't support a long market stretch in these kinds of cards because the money moves on so quickly. So if you're interested in building with decks like this, all you have to do is wait a while. Prices will recede, and you'll be able to buy into this market. Nothing has given me any indication prices long-term hold on these types of deck builds in Commander. So you can be rest assured so far that these prices will recede if you want to wait a little while. Now let's take a look at our next card. Our next card is Chandra, Awakened Inferno, Core Set 2020. This card has seen a quick spike up in the last week, and of course it's risen to an average price of $9.73. The market average is $4.21. Don't forget, this is a 6 casting cost Planeswalker with loyalty 6 when it comes into play, but it cannot be countered. Its +2 effect is each opponent gets an emblem that it deals 1 damage to them. Remember that? Do you remember all these crazy cards we're seeing from Duskmourn? More related cards. -3, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, or -X, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, you got to exile instead. Very great card, very interesting. But here's where things get a little more funky. That's right, guys. I know this has probably been mentioned on other channels. People looking for replacement cards in Commander, and we have all jumped over to Mana Vault. Now, first off, this card has only jumped about 60%. That normally would not be in a card spike video of mine. I would not be regulating things as closely. But this card has had thousands of sales. It is going to be in my top 10 this weekend. I've seen several stores comment to me asking if I had an extra copy, which I don't. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's take a closer look. Mana Vault, single casting cost. Mana Vault doesn't untap during your untap step. This is an old school card, guys, from way back in the day I remember playing. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 4. If you do, you get to untap the Mana Vault. If you don't, it deals 1 damage to you. It taps to add 3 colorless mana to your mana pool. Now, let's take a moment here. We ban cards like Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, but Mana Vault is still there. Now, the sales on Mana Crypt and the sales we saw on Jeweled Lotus, I'm roughly over 1,000 on each right now. It's crazy. But Mana Vault sales are almost double that number. And the price has risen exponentially. You cannot tell me that all these players happen to have all these copies that they surged onto the market to sell. Somebody had advanced knowledge. Somebody had warning. Because who accumulates that many copies of Mana Vault? New, old, I don't care. It is very interesting to see that although they banned the other cards we're talking about, Mana Vault, which of course has massive potential for mana ramp, wasn't banned. Maybe it's being talked about. Maybe somebody knew some, I don't know. It's a conspiracy theory in my head, and I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. And I hope you put some comments down, because these sales are huge for a card of this price. We're talking a few $100,000, and we're only at Wednesday. At the time I'm filming this Wednesday night, I think I'm at 2,000 plus sales that I can record and that I've captured, which means a card like this, and then timesing it by $100 and something, this card is just crazy because it's the replacement card. But who knew it was going to be the replacement card? Who understood the potential as soon as the banning was announced, and where did all these extra copies surge onto the market from? Sure, there were some already in the market to begin with, but those sold out really quick, and then the prices started to spike, and they still got bought. Guys, this is a lot to cover in a single video, but I want you guys to understand the market movements we're seeing right now are very irregular for the Moxman to record. These don't fit any of the normal patterns I have. They don't fit in with any of the algorithms I follow. So this, for me, leaves me a little bit on the side going, I'm going to tell you what I see. I'm going to record these numbers, but this is one of those weird moments in Magic history where the execution of all these cards dying off, the surges and changes in the market, the replacement cards being bought, as well as throwing in the oddities, leaves a lot to be wondered about. A lot more questions than answers. And the fury and rage from a lot of players. Now, I'm going to be honest. For Mana Vault, I have 4. They're all from my days of playing Revised. And I think I bought them for 50 cents back in the day. We didn't use it that often. That's great that I've gained some value. But it's nothing to the losses everyone suffered. And who's going to capitalize on those Mana Vaults? Whoever had large positions for some reason. Guys, it's something to keep in mind. It's something to be aware of. And if Wizards of the Coast keeps pushing cards like this and then banning them, I don't even care if it's every 4 or 5 years. Players, we do tend to have short memories nowadays in this flashy flash world. But I hope people remember this, because I'm going to keep reminding you that it happened. This is a moment that is not normal. The losses were just exponential, and they're still being recorded. I'm still counting things up. I don't even want to know how bad it's going to hit players, and I feel bad for people who had it happen. And I'm looking at these cards saying, if they're going to try to slow the game down, shouldn't there have been about 20 cards that got banned to bring it to a whole different level? But you guys will drop some comments, and you will let me know. Guys, have a great day. Thanks again for stopping by my channel. And a reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, to like and subscribe to the channel. I do put out new content every single day. Look forward to seeing your comments. And we're about 675 to 80 subscribers away from actually hitting 25,000, which is the halfway mark to my grand goal of 50K. So thanks again, everyone, for making this happen. Welcome to all the new people on the channel. Thanks for giving the videos thumbs up. And of course, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Have an awesome day today. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you. Because of all the Patreon supporters we have here on the channel, my YouTube membership members, I get the privilege of being able to bring you magic content and creative ideas every single day, to report on the numbers, the news, and let you know what's going on in the world of magic. So thanks again to each and every one of you for making that happen. Guys, have a great day. We'll see you all tomorrow. Do you ever have one of those days where things are just going by at such an insane pace that you just can't, you feel like you can't catch your breath? I'm not sure where I'm going with this, the ramble jamble. Not today anyway. Little cohesive thoughts are having a hard time this late at night. But guys, this is really big. A lot of, like, I haven't heard much about people really quitting. I know I've heard people talk about it, but I'm just hearing so much anger and frustration because people, like, sorry guys, there's some noise in the background here. People, they do follow that rules committee. Now I don't know how long that's going to go on for. I'm not sure how it's going to divide the play groups. I myself never had a Mana Vault, but I had to take out a Jeweled Lotus if I'm playing at certain pods. Other pods were not going to follow those rules. It's really going to be up in the air to see how this is all going to play out in the long term. But on the financial side of things, so much money was lost. It's just gone. And now, of course, you guys saw the thing with Mana Vault. So much money has just been gained by those who had control of a large position of those cards, which some of the numbers do not add up. Single people playing the game don't have 100 copies and don't try to turn them into card stores. So I can't go too much into that because the stores didn't want me to say anything, but guys, things are a little bit nutty and some of the numbers I'm seeing do not add up, which makes me, I'm double, triple checking things. So thanks again, guys. I know this didn't make a lot of sense today, but I got a coffee. You're all here. My day is getting better by the moment. Rock on! Wait, that's wrong. Ramble jamble! Guys, I'll see you tomorrow. It can only get better. Guys, it'll get better.